Hello critters, the point of today's video is that if she uses a tarot card deck and you can see her ankles, you should burn the witch. Okay, no, today's another video where I'm going to try to give you, my fellow atheists or, deconstructed people, tools for spirituality, because spirituality is really important for humans. And when we hear the word, we tend to get a little scared because of the woo-woo implications that it has been known to have. But I'm here to tell you that you can have that without the woo. And you can have that without the supernatural beliefs and the truth claims and the whatever. You can have a secular spirituality, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Religion, like Christianity, tries to have like a monopoly on spirituality, and I'm sick of it, dude. My time as a Christian was some of the least, spiritually fulfilled and happy I've ever felt. Spirituality doesn't have like a clean definition, but when I refer to it, I'm like kind of cobbling together, scholars' definitions where I'm talking about how you experience awe, how you feel connected to something bigger than yourself or connected to others, and like how you do self-exploration. That's like a spiritual system for me. And notice that supernatural beliefs are not required for that definition. We know that spirituality and rituals have positive impacts on like human psychology and mental health and well-being, but there's not like one religion that has an exclusive claim to those benefits. Like, it's not like if you're a Christian, you're the only one who gets those benefits. You can get those benefits from all kinds of spiritual belief systems, or like not even belief systems, just spiritual practices, even secular versions of spirituality. So like Carl Sagan, you're going to try to tell me that Carl Sagan wasn't a very fulfilled spiritual person. Shut up. His spirituality was secular science. You can do that. So since deconstructing Christianity, I've been trying to rebuild a spirituality in its place, because I faced the final boss and it kicked my ass because it has hands of deconstruction, which is nihilism, and it was horrible. I'm building my way out of it, and I have cobbled together some things that have helped me be emotionally, spiritually fulfilled without any sort of supernatural beliefs or like truth claims or anything. And this is a journey a lot of people have been talking about for a while, like Sasha Sagan and like No Nonsense Spirituality on YouTube. So I want to go into what's worked for me, so maybe it can work for you. So this tarot for me, secular tarot, is not a future telling device. Like, I'm not pulling a card and being like, you're gonna die in 7 days. Or I'm not gonna pull a card and say something stupid like, your dead grandma wanted me to pull this card. Like, that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. This is not... There's nothing like supernatural happening here. There's no truth claims. There's nothing to believe. This is literally just a tool for interacting with your subconscious, for doing self-exploration, that sort of stuff. Think of this as just like, for me, this is just like a tactile journaling tool that's been really helpful and fun, that gives you like a little healthy, like almost amount of woo without, betraying yourself if you're somebody who's sensitive to that, and without, having to believe something you actually don't. So, tarot decks are based on an original deck called the Rider-Waite-Smith tarot deck, which was written by, Rider-Waite, and then the art was done by a woman whose name was Smith, or her last name, or whatever. And with these decks, they're full of all kind of symbols and archetypes. Every bit of a Rider-Waite tarot deck, like all the art on them, are packed with meaning. And as humans who are, we evolved sitting around campfires, telling stories, bonding that way, thinking about, symbolic things, cave paintings, making art. We respond well, or like our brains get symbols, our brains get archetypes. That's like Jungian psychology. It's like deep in our DNA. So it's just an easy system. And obviously this is not the original Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but it is based on it with like a couple extra cards for Lilith and Lucifer. And I just really love this deck. I really resonate with the art. It speaks to me. Which comes to my first point of why I love tarot as an atheist. I just love art. And like, you just have this beautiful little art deck, where an artist took this symbology and interpreted it in their way. And put it into art. So like humans resonate with art. We feel moved by art, and every little deck is just, I'm moved by this art. I love this deck. This is let me grab the box. This is called Lillifer Tarot by Marian Costanetti. Oh God. Costantin. Marian Constantin. Oh God, I'm so sorry, Marian. I'm illiterate. Phonics failed me. I love your tarot deck. I cannot recommend this tarot deck enough. So you have your tarot deck with that artist's interpretation of the Rider-Waite system, and then you have a little interpretation book to help you. They have packed this deck with symbolism. I love it. So like there's all kinds of things that are hidden in the decks, like zodiac stuff, symbols, motifs in the art, like sprouts and fish and all kinds of stuff. It's really good. And in a tarot deck, there's some basic like themes in art. So you've got your major and minor arcana. The major arcana are big spiritual stages in your life, while the minor arcana are more the small day-to-day things. There are suits, and like this is just a really brief overview, okay, just so you understand that there's a lot of symbolism here. If you want to learn more about tarot, like the two people who are going to share this niche interest with me of secular tarot, I will go into this more in the future. Just let me know what you want to learn. But there's pentacles, like you see in this one, this is the Two of Pentacles. The pentacles are like about the material world. We've got the major arcana here, like the Tower, which is all about like life-changing events, big catastrophic changes in your life. Like they're all just packed with symbols. So like, you know, the cups are like the cards of the suit of emotions and intuition and, you know, emotional movement. So like there's so much symbolism here that you can learn. There's also, you know, the court cards. So like this is the Page. And the Page is like an archetype of like a teenager. But again, you're not going to learn all that with me telling you. I just want you to know that there's a ton of symbolism in these cards that I just love. And that your human monkey brain is gonna love too. Maybe. And it's all interpreted through art. It's really beautiful. Anyways, I've ranted enough about how much I love the art. Another reason I really like tarot as an atheist is just because it's tactile. Like I can hold it in my hands, I can take it with me. You know how like when you're anxious, one of the tips is like eat something sour, or like touch something cold, or name 5 things you can see. This is kind of the same thing where like you can feel it in your hands, so it's grounding. And again, there's a lot of archetypes within this, and I'm a big fan of Jungian psychology. That's another reason I like it. It gives me almost just a little bit of woo, but in a safe, psychologically grounded way of like, let's understand humans and myself and others through archetypes. But as far as like practically, how can a tarot card deck actually help you? I think I might have said this earlier, but just think of it as like a very tactile journaling tool, basically, in a way to interact with your psyche. So like one thing is like, if I'm like just so overwhelmed and I feel myself spiraling, pulling a card just helps me get on a track. Like just get me on a track. That doesn't mean I have to resonate with that card. The thing I could get from that card is that I don't resonate with it as well. So if I'm anxious, getting me on a track for journaling and for introspection. Another, you know, good ways, these help practice the art of resonating with things. So like when you're in therapy or whatever, you have to learn, like, does this resonate with you? Some things just don't. Like there's so many times where I was in therapy and she would try to give me advice and I'm like, this just doesn't resonate with me. Or if she would, you know, give me a reframe or something that really did resonate with me and I would like feel it in my body, like, oh yes, like I get that. Resonating with stuff is important, and this is a good practice in it because it's like, do I resonate with this card? Do I not resonate with this card, what it's telling me? And I have examples of that. So like for example, the Queen of Wands. Oh, she's right here. She wasn't even that far. So there was one day where I was like wanting to, I had a pretty toxic work situation with my boss. And I was starting to really feel it. And I just needed help figuring out what I was feeling, because you kind of have to name it to tame it. Like that's the point of the emotion wheel, is that I need to know what I'm feeling so I can process it. But I couldn't figure it out. So I pull a tarot card. I get Queen of Wands. Now the Queen of Wands is like a creative baddie. Like she symbolizes the queen archetype. So like a matriarchal girl boss. And like the wand is the suit of like creative force. So this girl is getting shit done. She's, being a creative force. And I was like, when I pulled that card, I was like, okay, Queen of Wands energy at work today. And I was like, I don't resonate with that at all. And I don't want to do that. And I was like, oh God, like, okay, so I pulled this card and I was like, okay, I'm gonna be the Queen of Wands today. God, I don't want to do that. So me not resonating with this card told me something. And I was like, why do I not want to be my Queen of Wands? Like, why do I feel like my workplace doesn't deserve me and my Queen of Wands? And, I sat with the feeling and I was like, oh, I'm experiencing resentment towards my boss. Like, that feels like resentment. So it was literally just, a way to get on track and to think about what I was feeling. And it helped me figure out, like, oh, I'm feeling resentment towards trying to be my Queen of Wands at work. I feel like my boss doesn't deserve my Queen of Wands. That's an example of like how it not resonating with me helped me figure out like, okay, now I know it's resentment, so I can process that. Also, I can use these as journaling prompts. Something as simple as every day I can come in, I can pick a card. Here's my card. Let me journal about it, see what jumps out about it. What does it mean? How could it apply to me? Just whatever comes up. Like, it could be that simple. I also have other journaling prompts. So like sometimes you need a little help figuring out like your subconscious, like what do I actually feel about something? So one journaling prompt that I like to do is I'll pull 3 cards. So like, 1, 2, 3. And I'll have a question in mind. And then, so I have these 3 cards. How could they be the answer to that question? And then I sit with which one resonates the most, which answer. So it's not like the cards are telling me something factual or like there's no truth claim here. Like these could be bullshit. It's just random. But that randomness allows you to see how you actually feel about it. So, if I journaled about this and I was like, I feel like my answer is here. I can feel it in my body. I'm resonating with that answer. There you go. Then like something I couldn't consciously figure out, I figured out how I was resonating with that answer, and I feel like that should be my answer. Or I'm like, so another journaling prompt, I'm really big on gratitude because of the book Braiding Sweetgrass that I read and changed my life. So like one journaling prompt I might want to do if I'm like, God, I need some gratitude in my life today, is like, okay, let me shuffle the cards and then I'm gonna pull 3 of them, and I'm gonna figure out in what ways can I be grateful for what I'm seeing in these 3 cards. So like if this card applied to me, how could I be grateful for that? I'm immediately seeing the Lovers. So today I could be grateful for my partnership that I have. I have the best partner, not to brag, on the planet. So I can be grateful, journal about being grateful for my partner. That way, I got the Queen of Wands again here. Sorry. Now I just think of that flow that I had with her. So I've got Queen of Wands here. She's the creative force, badass matriarch. She's getting shit done using her like emotions and intuition. I think at work I've done a really good job innovating certain things. I don't want to give too much away because I don't want to give away about my job, but innovating certain things in a creative way and getting it done and leading on that. So I'm grateful that I have that ability. So I could journal about being grateful for that ability that I have. And then we've got the 7 of Cups. And the 7 of Cups, like you can see kind of, the cups are about like emotion and intuition. And she's got a lot of cups here and she's juggling them all and they're kind of all over the place. So like this card's a lot about like not being able to come to a decision. Having lots of different things you're daydreaming about. So like if I was like, how could I be grateful for, I don't know, at least I have situations where I have choices I can't make. That's something I can be grateful for. So stuff like that. That's a journaling prompt. And then I've got, I've started out with gratitude for the day. And another good way that you can use your tarot card deck in a secular way is just literally shadow work. So like the one I use the most is just pull a card. When I shuffle my cards, I like to feel which one jumps out at me. Like that one immediately jumped. Okay, so pull a card. And then I figure out what are some ways I can exemplify the negative aspect of this card. And then don't stop there. You can't just, shadow work is not just talking shit about yourself. How can I empathize with that part of me and integrate her, into me? So 2 of Pentacles. Pentacles are about like earth, material, physical body plane. This card is about balance, partnerships. And so the negatives of like a negative interpretation of this card could be physical imbalance. Since the good is balance, this could be a physical imbalance. So I know sometimes I'm not very good at keeping my routines. I'll be like too intellectual or into the emotional and not into the body. And that's a problem. But I can empathize that I know that that's a result of me being, raised religious in a system that taught me to not be in tune with my body as much as I am the emotional, intellectual part. You have to have both, they're intertwined. I understand that that's a weakness of mine. That's a part of my shadow self sometimes. But I empathize with her because I know she was a product of her environment. She's doing her best, that me at that time. Just a quick example. So yeah, that's kind of just like a really quick summary of how I use tarot. It's literally just a self-exploration tool that's tactile. It's a way, it works for me because I really love art. I love learning about, human symbols and storytelling. We all love stories, we're human. And these cards tell stories. And it's also just fun to find a deck that really resonates with you as far as the art goes. Like, I can feel intuitively that I understand this artist. So you can find, there's so many tarot card decks out there. You can find one that resonates with you and that you understand or that you feel moved by. And that's just a fun process as well. So this is just like, I really just view this as a tactile journaling tool for when sometimes my subconscious is saying something that I can't really pinpoint. So the randomness of pulling cards allows me to figure out if it does or doesn't resonate. You have autonomy with these cards. So that's just a really good way to do that. If you want to learn more about how to read tarot cards, let me know from like a secular perspective. I'll tell you what I know and what I've been learning. That's just a quick little video about I love these as a secular tool, and I think you will too. I really love this one jumps out. Oh, that's my card. So everybody shuffles differently. Some people literally just put them in a big pile on the table and are really messy, and then, so the cards can be all over the place and they can pick one. I like to shuffle, and then when one jumps out, I'm like, that's my card. So yeah, this was just a really brief overview of how I use it. Please let me know if you want to learn more about secular tarot. I love this topic, and I love my cards, and I have other decks. Yeah, let me know what questions you have, and thanks for listening.